My topic this morning is the illusion of self-image. And I know that I may be treading on some precarious ground by making that statement, because books have been written on self-image, talks have been presented on self-image. I have got different opinions as to the whole concept of self-image, and one of the problems I have with the whole concept is just the word image. The word image, in my understanding, is a representation of. It's a picture of, is not the real thing. I understand the whole idea of developing a self-image, but I still have a bit of a problem with it, because it doesn't matter how positive I develop the self-image, it is still not the real me. It is still a representation of and a picture of. And in the work that I do in the personal development field, addiction recovery, in mental health and in correctional services, I come across a common thread that guys are really struggling with, and this is the whole idea of having a poor self-image. And I really believe that part of that is because there is a misunderstanding about the whole concept of self-image. Shakespeare made the comment, or the statement, "To thine own self be true." In other words, he puts a challenge out to us to figure out who we are and be true to that self. Now again, that raises a bit of a problem in my head. If I've got a self-image, I'm going to become true to a picture of myself or a representation of myself. And if we think where self-image comes from, it comes from external factors. We develop a self-image based on the labels we've been given, the titles that some of us may have, our possessions, our relationships, what our parents imprinted onto us, opinions from others. That at the end of the day is what defines most people's self-image. And then there's a Greek aphorism that says, "Know thyself." I really believe that it's imperative that we learn to figure out who we really are. That we need to start moving from the idea of having a self-image to developing self-knowledge. And from that self-knowledge we can move to self-acceptance. When I talk about self, what I'm talking about is once my titles have been removed, if we have any, once all the labels have been removed, once all my possessions have been taken away from me, once all my relationships have been taken away, once all my achievements, my education, anything I've achieved or acquired in life is stripped away from me, who is left? That's a scary thought. That's the real me. And unfortunately, in our modern consumerist society, we are conditioned to be defined by what we do and what we have. And what happens then, when that identity that we've developed based on what we do and what we have becomes threatened, our very identity becomes threatened. If my relationship defines who I am, and there's a breakup in my relationship, my identity is affected. If I'm defined by my wealth, my status, and I go through a time of financial crisis and I lose some of the stuff, my very identity becomes threatened. In other words, my sense of being becomes threatened. That's a very, very dangerous place to be in. And unfortunately, so many people suffer from a poor self-image because their self-image is being defined by external factors. And because of that poor self-image, people are unable to live life to the full. They are unable to deal with daily pressures because their sense of identity continues to be threatened because of what they've come to believe, who and what they are. There's a definition of identity. I don't remember where I read it, so I don't know who to give credit to. But they were talking about the 3 S's that at the end of the day are the 3 main principles as far as an identity is concerned, the 3 S's. The first one is a sense of security. And security meaning I feel safe with who I am. I feel okay with who I am. The second one is a sense of significance. I feel acknowledged. I feel important. I feel valued. And the third one is a sense of self-worth, where I feel I value myself. I have a sense of self-respect. I have a sense of self-worth. My understanding of that is the quality of those 3 S's will at the end of the day determine what my real sense of identity is all about. For those of you who are fortunate to have perfect parents, anybody who had perfect parents, perfect teachers, perfect peers, all you ever heard was how wonderful you are, how you loved and admired. I don't think many of us have experienced that. So most of us have had some negative experiences from the past, some negative comments that were made to us, maybe problematic parenting. And just by the way, as a side issue, most psychologists agree that children get their sense of identity from the father. And the mother provides a sense of unconditional love, warmth, and nurturing. And unfortunately, in our society, we're pretty much worldwide, we are developing a fatherless society, where the father is just not there, or the father might be present but emotionally absent. So we can imagine the impact that has on children's development when it comes to the sense of identity. So there's very, very strong impact from our parenting. And if there's a problem in our parenting, chances are we're going to develop some problems in our sense of identity as well. And because of this problem with people not really knowing who they are, they become disconnected from the essential being of who they are. And as a result, there's a problem in the sense of self-worth. They have a low self-esteem, low sense of value towards themselves. And Carl Jung made the statement, we don't see the world as it is, but as we are. And that means whatever is going on inside of me is what I'm going to project onto the outside world, and that is how I'm going to experience the outside world. Or if we can bring it into the realm of relationships, the way I feel about myself, the way I treat myself, will pretty much determine how other people will treat me. And if I come from a place of worthlessness, if I come from a place of insignificance, if I come from a place of insecurity, it's going to have a direct impact on my relationships. And that's normally where we develop what people refer to as a needy personality. We then look for things and people to define us. If I can just find the perfect partner, I will be happy. If I can land the perfect job, I will be significant. If I can acquire all these possessions, people will respect me. And like I said, when we lose those things, our very sense of identity becomes threatened. So what is the solution here? Well, we're not going to come to the actual solution today because it's a long process, but just some principles. To thine own self be true, and that's the challenge, is for us to learn and figure out who we really are, as opposed to this identity that we've developed because of all the roles that have been assigned to us. I would listen to a talk by a neurologist called, I think, Dr. Waldman, if I remember correctly. And he was talking about research that neurologists have done into personality and temperaments and all the type of thing. And there seems to be a consensus that we are born with certain character traits hardwired into the brain already. Certain propensities. And amongst those propensities would be the desire to be successful, the desire to be loved and valued, the desire to be happy, but more importantly, we seem to be born with hardwired personal truth that is already inside of us. And that personal truth is based on some inherent understanding of who I really am. What is right and wrong for me? What is good or bad for me? What is my truth? What are my values, my sense of meaning, my sense of purpose that I'm born with? And I suppose we can refer to that ultimately as the potential that we are born with. If we were in a situation like I was with that kind of parenting and values being taught that only later on in life I realized were completely incongruent with who I was encouraged to do things that I didn't really want to do. What then? Does it mean we're now stuck? Does it mean there is no way forward? I heard Wayne Dyer, an inspirational speaker, saying a couple of years ago, evil is love moving in the wrong direction away from God or source. Now, if I can paraphrase that, I believe evil is my knowledge of myself, my understanding of who and what I'm supposed to be, that I have been removed from. And I became disconnected from myself, And as a result, I start maybe going into a survival mode kind of living because I don't know who I am. And that, I believe, is when people develop what we call character defects, criminal tendencies, evil behavior, because we've lost or maybe never knew who we really are. And we develop this adapted sense of identity of who we are not. So I want to leave a challenge with you, because we don't have time to explore any further about what I'm talking about. I want to leave this challenge with you. If there's any area in your life that you've become dissatisfied with, I'm not talking about daily challenges. Things happen. We come across challenges. I'm talking about a sense of discontent inside. An area maybe where there seems to be continuous failure. Things are just not coming together. I just don't have a sense of purpose in life for that matter. Instead of trying to figure out what is my purpose in life, go back to the most important question: who am I? What am I all about? What is it that I want? What are my inner yearnings? My personal truth? And start to explore that. The former late Beatle, John Lennon, has got a song, and there's a line of lyrics in the song that says, "It's never too late to have a happy childhood." And what I understand that to mean is if we start to explore who we really are, we can take back some of those missed times or missed years, for that matter, or experiences, and become childlike instead of having this exaggerated artificial image that we're trying to portray to the world, because we don't know who we are. I want to finish off with maybe a contemplation that we can use moving forward. The three most important statements we can make. The three most life-impacting statements we can make is I am, because whatever you put after that will define your life and your reality. The second one is I can, because whatever you put after that will define your ability. The third one is I will, because that ultimately is my willingness. And if I don't know who I am, I don't know what my potential is, what I can do, I will never even be willing to face life to try and make the changes that I need to. My request, if I can put it that way, is move away from this whole idea of self-image and explore self-knowledge, and through that move to a place of self-acceptance, and then start to ask the question, who am I? And complete those three statements: I am whatever, I can whatever, I will whatever.